We all know what jewelry represents, right? It's beauty, it's wealth, it's history. But behind all that incredible sparkle, there's a much, much darker side. And this past year, the biggest stories weren't just about jaw-dropping auction prices. No, they were about a series of shocking high-stakes crimes that are shaking a multi-billion-dollar industry right to its core. Okay, I'm going to start with a few numbers. First up, $17.2 million. Just tuck that number away for a minute. We're going to come back to exactly what it represents. Then there's this, 555 carats. We're talking about a ridiculously large, famous black diamond. It's called the Enigma. And believe me, its story is every bit as mysterious as its name.
And now, a measure of time. 90 seconds. That's probably less time than it takes you to make a cup of coffee. But in this world, it's more than enough time to pull off a heist and make millions of dollars just disappear.
And finally, $1 billion. I mean, that's just a staggering amount of money. And it's all tied up in luxury, deception, and even the future of digital currency. So what's the connection here? Well, these numbers, they're the breadcrumbs that lead us through a year of absolutely incredible jewelry crime.
So let's dive in, starting with the most straightforward kind of theft you can imagine, the physical heist. We're not talking about subtle stuff here. These crimes are loud, they're dangerous, and way too often, they're violent.
And just look at the sheer variety of these heists. In Namibia, you've got this raw brute force attack, targeting diamonds right at the source. Then you shift to Paris, to the Louvre, with a sophisticated break-in that feels like something straight out of a movie, targeting priceless history. And then there's California, with those chaotic, almost anarchic smash and grabs. It really shows you that criminals are tailoring their methods for every single target, from a high-security mine to a public museum. And this brings us back to that first number I mentioned, that $17.2 million heist at Namibia. It wasn't just about the money. A senior protection officer was killed trying to defend the site. It's just a brutal reminder that behind the massive figures and flashy headlines, these crimes have a very real and often tragic human cost. And you know, the loss isn't always something you can put a price tag on. At the Louvre, the thieves didn't just steal jewels, they literally stole a piece of history. A necklace, a tiara, a brooch that belonged to Napoleon and Josephine. These things are completely irreplaceable. Their cultural value is just immeasurable. This chart really puts the success rate of these heists into perspective. Take a look at that Namibia case. Over $17 million in diamonds stolen. But the authorities, they only got back a tiny fraction of that, just $2.2 million. So where's the rest? Well, it's likely been broken down, recut, and fed right back into the global market. It basically vanishes without a trace. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. The criminals don't always win. You get these moments that really highlight the intense cat-and-mouse game going on. Like in Dubai, the police moved with incredible speed. They recovered a $25 million pink diamond and had suspects in custody in just 8 hours. They actually managed to catch the thieves before the stone could be smuggled out of the country, which is a huge win for law enforcement. Okay, so let's pivot a little. We're moving from crimes of force to crimes of pure deception. Because sometimes the biggest threat isn't a guy with a gun breaking down your door. It's a trusted partner who's already in the room with you. And a key tactic here is something called stone swapping. You know, with modern lab-grown diamonds looking basically identical to natural ones, this has become a really effective and devastating betrayal. So you hand over a valuable, natural diamond to a dealer you trust, and they secretly swap it for a lab-grown one that looks the same but is worth a fraction of the price. And this slide shows you exactly how that went down in New York. A dealer took natural diamonds from 2 different merchants, swapped them out for synthetics, and walked away with $460,000. It's a crime that attacks the one thing the diamond trade is built on: trust. And this wasn't just some one-off thing. Another dealer was charged with wire fraud. He allegedly stole over $3 million in diamonds from a supplier he had a long-term business relationship with. So again, the weapon here wasn't a gun, it was the absolute betrayal of trust. And that brings us to our final section, where things get even more complicated. We're moving beyond stealing single gems to attacking entire financial and digital systems. This, right here, is the new frontier. I mean, just look at this case involving Brinks, a name that's supposed to be synonymous with security. This wasn't a simple theft. The company got mixed up in a scheme that started with illegally moving cash from Mexico. Then it got worse when they failed to document who was actually getting the money in these huge transactions. This wasn't a smash and grab. It was a systemic breakdown that ended with a massive $42 million settlement for their role in money laundering. And, of course, crime is following the money right into the digital world. The FBI recently stopped a plot to rob a jeweler, but the target wasn't diamonds or gold. It was $2 million in cryptocurrency. This case is the perfect example of how digital wallets are becoming the new treasure chests for criminals. The scale of these new crimes is just massive. It's global and it's systemic. On one side, you've got people like crypto entrepreneur Richard Hart, who's accused of using $1 billion of his investors' money to buy luxuries, including that 555-carat Enigma diamond we talked about at the start. And on the other, you have corporate giants like Pandora and Amazon teaming up to take down huge counterfeit rings based in China. It's pretty clear the crimes are now as complex as the systems they're trying to exploit. A quote from the report that inspired this whole explainer really sums it all up, highlighting the sheer range of threats the industry faced this year, from brute force robbery all the way to slick internal deception. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that jewelry crime is evolving. It's moving past the simple smash and grabs and into this high-tech battlefield, fought with flawless fakes, untraceable crypto, and complex laundering schemes. And these new methods, they don't just steal money. They attack the very ideas of trust and authenticity that the entire industry is built on. Which really leaves us with one final big question. In a world of flawless fakes and digital deception, how do we even know what's real anymore? What really is the future of trust?